Israel should get the fuck out of Gaza, and they should end the occupation entirely. Otherwise, they're in the land stealing business, which is what they've been in for the last at least 58 years.
Cenk thinks that if he says the word fuck, he's somewhat of a man.
Look, if Israel had carpet bombed Hamas and carpet bombed Gaza on October 8th, they would have gotten away with it. The reason that they are getting all the heat now is they dragged it out. And in fact, they are trying surgically to distinguish between Hamas and civilians, an extremely difficult job to do when Hamas grabs.
Trying to diminish the other speaker by laughing like a freaking monkey. Hi guys, this is Sahar TV, and in today's video we'll see another Piers Morgan's Uncensored video, a debate between Cenk and Dinesh. I don't know if you've seen them before, they're all over the place. Let's take a look and give our comments as they speak.
I've not talked to you since this peace plan was presented. I read it in detail and I found myself nodding at a lot of it. It seems to me to be the most likely framework to get this war over.
Yeah. So my sense of it is that Trump is actually trying to get to peace. Obviously, he's massively biased towards Israel, and this deal is biased towards Israel, but I would take it. And so...
Bias towards Israel? We have to release 2,000 terrorists in exchange for 48 hostages, where only about 20 are alive. How is this fair towards Israel? What would be fair is to finish this frickin' war and eliminate Hamas completely.
Now, I'm not Hamas, so it's easy for me to say I want the hostages home. I wanted the hostages home from day one. So in the deal, the hostages get released. Hamas does not rule Gaza. I'm happy with both of those things. But the critical part, Piers, is Israel has to leave Gaza. So right now, what they're saying is, yeah, we're going to get what we want. We're going to get our hostages back, but we're not going to leave. And they claim they are getting a security perimeter, which is just more land. And I told you from day one, this was never about self-defense. This is about land acquisition. They're trying to build greater Israel. So then Netanyahu says yes to the deal because he has no choice because Trump makes him, which I like. Good.
The argument that Israel is trying to create greater Israel after returning the Sinai Peninsula, which was filled with oil, a huge portion of land, for peace, is absurd. Gaza is not going to make greater Israel. It's not going to do anything, right? It's going to make a dent. It's not going to do anything. So it's Cenk lying to you again.
Job by Trump on that. Then he goes home and says in Hebrew, not in English, oh, don't worry. We're going to have the IDF deep inside Gaza. So in other words, we're not going to do the peace deal. We're going to get the hostages back, and we're going to grab as much of Gaza for Israel as we can. So that's the part that I can't stand. If I was Hamas, I'd sign the deal anyway, take Israel's excuse away from them. They've been using the hostages. That's why Netanyahu didn't want the hostages back, because he wanted it as an excuse. But it doesn't really matter, because even if you take that excuse away from him, what he's going to do next is Hamas didn't surrender enough. They didn't turn in enough weapons. I have to murder more Palestinians. I have to ethnically cleanse them more. So when the hostages are returned, Piers...
You know what's funny about Cenk? That he's speculating like it's his hobby, because it is. We said since the beginning, release the hostages, Hamas surrenders, the war stops. They never did that until now, and that's why it never happened.
And we come back on here, will you tell all of your Zionist Israeli zealot, yes, okay, you guys betrayed the deal. You were supposed to leave Gaza, and you didn't, so Cenk was right, and all of your critics were right. This was always about stealing Palestinian land. Okay, so that's what's going to happen, I guarantee it. So I just want to set ahead of time so that people don't try to squirm out of it. Oh, no, they didn't turn. They turned in 12,000 guns, but we wanted 13,000 guns. We have to keep murdering. We have to keep stealing land, right? So let's get it clear right now. Israel should get the fuck out of Gaza, and they should end the occupation entirely. Otherwise, they're in the land stealing business, which is what they've been in for the last at least 58 years.
Cenk thinks that if he says the word fuck, he's somewhat of a man. He just needs to create drama for the Pierce's show to succeed.
Okay, Dinesh, your response to that?
Well, the United States didn't get the F out of Japan after the attack on Pearl Harbor. This was something that the Japanese started, and the United States not only finished it, but after the war, there was denazification, there was a restructuring of Japan. So I'm just saying that when you start a war, it's not going to end your way. Now, I do support the Trump plan. Through my adult lifetime, I've seen so many bungled peace plans that the fact that this one is kind of close to signature, I think is itself incredible. I think Trump is a real estate guy. He's looking at Gaza and he's saying, I see a bunch of rubble. Why don't we have nice buildings and clean streets and people in suits going to work and maybe a Trump hotel? Why don't we have trade and prosperity? So he's offering a different path to the path that we've seen so far. And on the balance, I think it's a good path. So even though I think for Israel, it's painful to exchange terrorists for hostages, that's hardly a fair part of the deal. But I think Israel is right to swallow and take it. I think also the demilitarization of Gaza and having an international authority mainly made up of Muslims and Muslim countries, I think is a good way to go.
Cenk, the suggestion that Tony Blair might be a leading figure in that has enraged a lot of people. Others say, look, he got peace in Northern Ireland. He's been a Middle East peace envoy. Iraq was a disaster, but everything he's done since has been aimed at trying to forge peace. What's your view of somebody like him being involved?
So Tony Blair is a toady for the Israelis, and that's super obvious, and I'll give you a fact that proves it. Do you know who's funding the Tony Blair Institute to the tune of $350 million? Larry Ellison, the same Larry Ellison who is the biggest charitable donor to the IDF. He gave them $16.6 million in the middle of a genocide. Oh yeah, go murder more.
In the middle of a war. Let's just set the record straight, right? It's a war.
Palestinians. Here's my charity to Israel. Go steal more land. So that guy is paying off the guy, Tony Blair, who's supposed to be neutral here. No, he's got 350 million reasons not to be neutral. He's going to be biased in favor of Israel in every way, shape, and form. He has been bought by Israel. He helped to start the Iraq War. Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. Iraq had nothing to do with America. At the time, Israeli leaders said that it was Israel's number one enemy, and Tony Blair said, "Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. We'll invade them, sir." And now we're told that he's neutral when he's obviously and literally and empirically bought by Larry Ellison, who's a
Ariel Sharon, who was the leader at the time in Israel, at the time of the invasion of Iraq, actually told Bush not to invade. He said that their biggest enemy at the moment is Iran, and that they should avoid invading Iraq. So again, it's just another lie being told by pro-Pallies all around the world. Dave Smith says the same thing. Israel didn't get America to invade Iraq. America invaded Iraq because they wanted to invade Iraq, because they have their own intelligence. Capish? Capish.
Massively pro-Israel zealot, near lunatic, honestly, on saying, yeah, I'd like to donate charitably to a genocide. It's unbelievable. And so, and one more thing about what Dinesh said. So look, these guys always say, oh, well, look, there was World War II and we dropped a nuclear bomb. Like, why? But what we were supposed to learn from history. So yes, the Mongols went into Baghdad and killed 800,000 people, every man, woman, and child about 1,000 years ago. Does that mean we should all do it? No, we're supposed to get better as we go along. And that's why we passed laws after World War II that we should not do indiscriminate mass murder of civilians. And the only country that doesn't agree, Israel. They're like, no, we reserve the right to do mass slaughter of civilians. That's because they're totally outside of the rule of law. They're a pariah terrorist state.
Mass slaughter, yet after 2 years, 65,000 people died when half of them were Hamas, about 10,000 people died from natural death. Most casualties were actually men between the ages of 13 and 55 plus, which is the age of active members of Hamas. Yes, they get recruited as young as 13. So don't give us that BS, Cenk.
And we've got to stop funding them.
There's a debate about the dropping of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but even the people who say that that was a bad idea think that there should have been instead a land invasion of Japan, which would itself have produced untold casualties. So there's no real debate in America. Hold on, let me finish. You keep shouting. Let me finish. So the point I'm trying to make here is when Japan starts it, the United States gets to finish it, and there's no need to have a, quote, neutral authority that somehow neutralizes the influence of the victor. Look, if Israel had carpet bombed Hamas and carpet bombed Gaza on October 8th, they would have gotten away with it. The reason that they are getting all the heat now is they dragged it out. And in fact, they are trying surgically to distinguish between Hamas and civilians, an extremely difficult job to do when Hamas grabs
Trying to diminish the other speaker by laughing like a freaking monkey.
its own mothers and daughters and puts them right in front of Hamas and says, we dare you to shoot because that's going to make you a murderer.
Guys, I'll include the full debate between these two. I mean, debate, right? Dinesh is winning this debate 100%. Even before listening to anything Cenk said, you could have understood who was going to win this. I really don't understand why Cenk keeps getting invited on these shows. He's making a bad name for the people on the other side. Actually, every person that supports the other side is giving a bad name to this movement. But just notice how Cenk tries to imply that there's a genocide and that we're trying to do land grabs. They attacked us. They will deal with the consequences. We're going to take all the time in the world to make sure we have eliminated the threat. Thank you for watching. I'll include a full link below. Bye-bye. If you'd like to watch more of my stuff, please check out my channel down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new content. If you'd like to support me and the channel financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Also, we now have a Discord that you can join down in the link below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.